Hello, friends. Today we are going to learn about the legal maxims and phrases. I am Professor Govind Prasad Goyal from IMS Law College, Noida. So, first and foremost thing which we have to understand what is a legal maxim and phrase. A legal maxim or a legal phrase elucidates or expounds a legal principle, proposition, or concept. There are many of the legal maxims available. However, there we would be just discussing five in this video. The first maxim is Actus Nonfacitorium nisi citria. You may be wondering why what involves a crime. So whenever there is a conviction of any accused person, the court is looking into two of the elements. One is the physical element, another is the mental element. If the person has committed any wrong or any criminal or public wrong, then it is seen whether the person has the guilty mind behind it or not, whether there is a conspiracy has done or there is a plotting done by him or not. So, actus non facitrium nisi mens stands for that no act constitutes guilt unless done with a guilty intention. If we see the construction of this maxim, actus non, this is actually a Latin. In Latin, what is done? Adjective is placed after the noun. So, actus non it stands for no act. And facet it stands for constitutes. So, no act constitutes rea means guilt. Unless, nisi stands for unless there is a guilty mind. So, whenever there is a conviction, so what is being seen by the court? Actus reus plus mens rea, and then the person is held guilty of a crime, and accordingly, the person is given a certain quantum of punishment. Got it? Now, let's move on to the second one, and which also involves the third. These are actually principles of natural justice. Nemo judex in cosa sua, and another means one is audi ultram partem. So nemo judex in cosa sua means nobody could be a judge in his own case. Nemo judex stands for nobody could be a judge in his own case, or there is an interest, or there is a certain fear for biasness. Then is a rule against the bias. All right. And then another principle of natural justice is audi ultram partem. AUDI stands for here. As you say that audio cassette, audience. So AUD stands for hearing. So here ultram means other, partem means party. So here the other party. This is a rule of fair hearing. And in India, India is known actually by the fair and just and reasonable justice. So in the case of Kasab, though Kasab was prima facie uh, to be held guilty for committing the treason as well as to committing a crime in India, but he was a terrorist. Even then, that person was given a fair hearing by Indian judicial system. So that's a audi altrum partem means the other party must be given a chance to be heard. All right. So now let's move on to another one. That's a caveat emptor. Caveat emptor actually before the consumerism was taking place in India. So the buyer was held responsible. The buyer must be cautious and careful before purchasing any of the item or any service. So there was a shift after the consumerism arrived in India, though there are certain exceptions to the doctrine of caveat emptor under Section 16 of the Sales of Goods Act. So there are certain exceptions, you can see that. But after then, when the consumerism was there, and we have the Consumer Protection Act 2019 and in 1986 earlier. So here is a shift from caveat emptor to caveat venditor. Since customer is considered to be the king, so it is the seller. Seller has to be prepared. Seller has to be cautious and careful before delivering or before selling out anything. So that's a shift from caveat emptor to caveat venditor. So in this video, we have done in total five of the legal maxims, and first one is actus non facientiam misim cetera. which is very much easy to learn. Actus non stands for no act, facet stands for constitutes, rem for guilt. So no act constitutes guilt. Nisi stands for unless there is a guilty mind. So mans stands for mentality. So mans for mind and ria for guilty. So if there is no guilty mind, the person cannot be held guilty. Right? And then we have done two of the principles of natural justice. One is the nemo judex in causa, which means that nobody could be a judge in his own case or when there is a cause or interest of his. Another one is audio ultram partem, means the other party must be heard. The person who has been accused or the defendant had the chance and opportunity to put up his own version of the story before the court. And then we have done two of the phrases relating to the consumer. That's a caveat emptor and caveat venditor. So with this, we end up this video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.